What is up, YouTube? Rickzilla here with a new video. Today, I'm going to be doing a reaction to Christian's recent updates regarding the dimensional merge, as well as his sermon. This video here is a stray away from Christian's usual content, which consists of him recording himself on his phone in his room. So it's obviously strange that he would make a video or have someone record him in a public setting. You'll know what I'm talking about once you see the entire video, so let's get started.
My life has spent by God went down the point of my life. Chris! It's Christian! Chris! It's Christian! See you, man. This is someone called for Creek. Here we go again, motherfucker!
Hey everybody, Sancha here, still in Mama's body for like 6 months since she and I body swapped. But anyway, so I wrote my own little speech that talks about updates that happened since when Mama originally talked about the dimension merge. It's still in progress. She wrote about that nearly 2 years ago. So I recently rewrote and all that by hand, and I finally so I wrote my piece.
One thing that you might find different if you're a observer of Christian or a Christorian is that the beginning of the video has an intro, a heavy metal intro, which is really odd since Chris never opens a video with an intro because he's too lazy to edit his own videos. But that's not up to me to decide since I don't upload or edit an intro to my video. And I don't even edit my videos since I'm also lazy as well, so there's that. But let's continue on.
That's pretty much an update of what happened since, and a little bit for me, so the emotion and heart and everything is in there, so let's get down to it. So let me see. Pretty much that's the... Alright, so anyway, without further ado, let's talk about the communities and what y'all in 1218 here can and should do.
Again, editing is in this video, and I gotta love the Times New Roman font that the guy filming Chris used. And it's obvious he's probably using a cheap camera phone since the quality is downright shitty.
Mama's tweet set were shown to everyone in C197 as well when they got typed up nearly 2 Octobers ago. Since then, the common folk around the earth has been mindset on prep work. All of the local government people consulted with our overpowered psychic types, the Justice League, the Avengers, the CPUs, the game industry, the world leaders, and so on.
Chris is rehashing the tweets that he posted a few weeks ago. And when he talked about the Justice League and the Avengers, as well as video game characters and other people, he's trying to include the DC universe and the Marvel universe into the canon of his Sonichu mythos. If you think about it, Quickfill, or C-197, is practically Imagination Land. If you don't know what that is, it's a realm in South Park where fictional characters coexist with one another.
To get the details, make the plans.
Then again, Chris copies all of his ideas from South Park and Family Guy.
And kept the larger details coded down for everybody else's comprehension. It's actually better for all to remain calm, patient, alert, and focused instead of overthinking things. I mean, it's nothing personal or insulting anybody's intelligence. It's
I'm eating a burrito right now. Bean cheese.
just easier this way, you know? Gotta keep calm and focused and all that. Think. Mama encourages that, and I'm encouraging it as well. Anyway, so most everyone has prepared their evac kits, taken up survival and outdoor learning from various books and educational videos, etc. And in each country and city, they have their plans made out and distributed. They distributed pamphlets on those. Even President Herbert Garrison, who is pretty much Donald Trump's counterpart, freaking Trump.
South Park parodied the 2016 election where Mr. Garrison was running for president. Throughout the entire episode, he transitioned into Donald Trump-esque character. Then again, Herbert Garrison is a really shitty person. I mean, the guy tried to ban gay marriage because his ex-boyfriend couldn't take him back. He attempted to assassinate Kathy Lee Gifford over a talent show. He ran away because he couldn't grasp the concept that he is a closeted homosexual. And and he also tried to get his dad to molest him. So, yeah, Herbert Garrison was a piece of shit. But that's up for you to decide.
Garrison called the prep work plans in order. Thank deities we do not have your frickin' pandemic and C-197 social distancing orders. God, I'm a mess and shit. I mean, geez, I can't wait to get back into C-197 with this body.
The whole body swap thing is basically Chris's coping mechanism during the social distancing and the lockdown. The reason why Chris is so upset about COVID-19 wasn't because of the increased numbers in fatalities. It's because he couldn't go to BabsCon this year.
Everyone has been practicing common sense, quick as possible thinking, and mental processing, and working together in all of this. The next subtopic, our experiences since 2018, which are about the same as in 1218 here. Everyone has become able to see through the Iron Curtain. Most refrained, but more than a quarter or third have interacted and talked with some of you all, and y'all.
He probably got that whole Iron Curtain thing from Jacob Sockness. You'll know what I'm talking about later on in this video.
Have seen and talked with us as well. More and more portals and breaks have been appearing and manifesting around the world and throughout the galaxies of the Iron Curtain between our dimensions.
What is this, the final battle of Endgame?
Some have safely and successfully traversed to the other dimension and back. Everyone who has perished so far, leaving Mama's estimates respectively, have safely merged and awakened in their self-counterparts' bodies, brains, and consciousness. The tallied numbers of individuals in C-197 who are confirmed of waking up here to be in the millions.
In case you're wondering, Quickville or C-197 is basically Chris's version of the afterlife. Whoever has passed away here in 1218, their soul is transferred to C-197. So that would include your common folk, politicians, celebrities, and other individuals who have died as of recently. So in Chris's case, people like Carrie Fisher, Stan Lee, Adam West, Chadwick Boseman, Alex Trebek, and Sean Connery have made the trip to Quickville. So I'm hoping to see James Bond Sonichu or a Black Panther Sonichu or even a Princess Leia Rosechu in the near future.
That's the number of deaths here on the 1218 side. They woke up at C-197. That's in the millions, as opposed to the opposite from C-197 to here. Where are they going? Right. The number of your waking up after soulfully migrating from C-197 were in the 100,000s, less than 500,000. To be clear, this is amongst the common peoples with mundane types of lives and hardly any life-extending powers and superpowers, and those who lacked in endurance and fortitude. And the honorable mentions to just it being unavoidable and twist of fate happening to them. Also, we have confirmed buildings and objects fully transitioning into the other dimension from the other side, such as Gotham City in C-197 has seen buildings from this dimension appear on the outskirts around them. Your Statue of Liberty has appeared right next to ours, and the next day after that, our Statue of Liberty just disintegrated and became lost in the void. The temples in Saudi Arabia crumbled in C-197, and your temples appear to replace them. Our China and Japan buildings, the buildings not in the countries of China and Japan.
I remember when the word China was Chris's term for vagina. I remember when Chris would always try to go the distance to get his sought-after China.
Just to be clear,
Excuse me.
yeah, they've appeared in your dimension here shortly after those same
I gotta have my China.
structures crushed and fell. The leftover rubble around them from the former was obvious on the ground just around them.
I'm quick to believe that someone put him up to this, but you'll see what I mean.
And I can go on with Notre Dame and all the California that burned in favor of those cities from C-197 into 1218, including Elmore.
I believe that the fire that destroyed Notre Dame was caused by a lit candle burning, tipping over, and burning flammable curtains. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think that fire was an accident. But that's up for me. But that's up for you to decide. As for the wildfires, they happen every year. So it's nothing new. Chris, on the other hand, thinks that all those fires, as well as natural disasters that's been happening as of recently, are signs that the dimensional merge is happening. And you'll know why.
And oh my goodness, yeah, the OG Rishi Ram was doing a bang-up job and bringing on the firestorms here.
Reshiram is the name of a fire Pokemon.
As you know, on the West Coast we got Reshiram, and on the East Coast we've been having Zekrom.
Zekrom is an ice Pokemon.
After they've been doing their chaos, guess
Or a water Pokemon. Whatever.
this has been coming in, bringing in the chill winds. Kyurem, the OG one. But fortunately, in combination between both the next dimensions, most everyone got out of the transitioning buildings and survived. The combined number of deaths by becoming stuck in fading in walls, floors, and so on were just over 10 people. Just that, 10.
10 people? Just 10?
Man, lost my place as I do that. But yes, sadly, their bodies disappeared. They disappeared into the void and all of that. But they are not forgotten, and thanks to our psychic teams and individuals and superheroes, they have all been counted
Psychic
for
Pokemon.
and remembered. And the last subtopic for now, I'm going to tell you all a few two stories about myself. Good old Sonichu. That's me, right there. My body, but I'm in Mama's body, so it's just nearly 6 months now. But anyway, let me tell you all a few stories about me. Alright, so y'all know my origins. It's pretty much born as a Pichu on April 20th, 1992, evolved into Pikachu, collision with Sonic, became the first ever Sonichu, met Rosie, had adventures, learned, grew a lot as a warrior, and Quickfield, and then some.
Sonichu is Chris Chan's magnum opus. It's a combination of Sonic the Hedgehog and Pikachu. Rose-Chu is an amalgam of Amy Rose and Raichu. The origins of Sonichu involve Sonic the Hedgehog in his supersonic form fighting Chaos, which is this elemental entity that appeared in Sonic Adventures, the first one. The energy from the Chaos Emeralds was transferred into a wild Pikachu and a wild Raichu, transforming them into the Sonichu and Rose-Chu of C-197. The comic book series of Sonichu, the webcomics, was supposed to be about Sonichu's adventures with his chaotic combo buddies, but Chris retconned it to make it all about his personal life and his fights with the former dean of Piedmont, Virginia Community College, Mary Lee Walsh, as well as the mall security, which Chris dubs jerk cops, and even the trolls such as Clyde Cash and Liquid Chris, as well as 4chan and Encyclopedia Dramatica. The entire plot of Sonichu is convoluted with spelling errors, plot inconsistencies, and shitty dialogue. So, I wouldn't recommend you checking it out. It's abysmal.
I often have had dreams and nightmares spawned from the hate-filled alt-dimension fanfics that have been written in this dimension. I'm Magic-chan.
Also, Chris doesn't like it when people use his characters in their own stories, such as the alt-dimension versions of Sonichu, Rose-Chu, Magic-chan, and the Chaotic Combo. Chris would then declare it as like alternate versions of his characters. He made a fuss about people redesigning his characters. He got upset when an artist named SNT Network, or Courtney, redesigned the Chaotic Combo, and he threw a hissy fit over it. He also hated Asperchu which is a parody of Chris's work, Sonichu. And he threatened to kill the people behind the ED page, as well as the trolls who were pissing Chris off, including the ones who drew a penis on Rosechew. Yes, trolls did that.
And my love, Rosie Rosechew, oh thank goodness, they helped me to stay grounded and reminded me to stay calm with meditation and all that. It's been such a major relief. I thank them both and everybody else ever so much, including our Christine Chan, that's Mama's Central Sub counterpart in C197, as well as Mama herself. But yeah, I've also had my times of doubt over Christine Chan. And,
Yeah, Christine Chandler, Chris Chan, formerly known as Christopher Weston Chandler or Christian Weston Chandler, Ian Brandon Anderson, Jenkins Jinkies, and Ricardo Chandler is a self-proclaimed goddess of the goddess of the Commodore 67, a game console that Chris became obsessed with. He got the whole concept of being a goddess from a video game known as Hyperdimension Neptunia, and based his religion, his own religion, on his warped delusions.
I mean, you've read about that version of her. I had thought one time or another that I could do her job better. I was also aware of Mama in 1218. I've never acted against either of them. Autumn. And then, I never acted, and then freaking idea guy and his damnable villain-loving powers. A major pain on our Earth and Equestria in C197. This damn freaking Nazis. Manipulating the CPUs with his freaking OC Johnson Wiles, soldier of war and whatever. Ah, what a freaking manipulator. Just kick his ass all over the place.
The idea guys were a group of trolls that influenced Chris into believing that Quickville was real. They even took advantage of Chris's declining mental state by incorporating Nazi propaganda into Chris's work. Over the years, trolls have interfered with Chris's creativity by implementing idiotic ideas into Sonichu, resulting in Chris halting the comic book until he can get his shit together, which is never going to happen. But he's doing it because people pay him now. But he doesn't deliver on his promises because he's fucking lazy. And the idea guys took advantage of Chris's mental state and made him believe all these idiotic things. For instance, the whole Nazi propaganda, the historical Nazis were, as I stated in my Chris and Politics video, a common theme in their content. As long as Chris remained under their control, anything political Chris said had to be taken with a grain of salt.
And while I was spending time and making good with Mama during those months, idea guy he got into my brain and turned me against her. It was freaking horrible. And Mama had not ever stopped being kind with me, but I was so blinded. And as I had threatened her, and then she got tough love with me, it just broke me out, brought me back to myself.
Also, in Sonichu, Chris kind of butt-fucked his creation, his son Sonichu, just so that he could give birth to Crystal Rosechew. Crystal Chandler was Chris's imaginary twin sister during the early days of Sonichu. She was inspired by Chris's fan-made Yu-Gi-Oh card, which was basically a gender-bend version of himself, dubbed as Girlfriend's Gift. A lot of people have assumed that Chris had some incestuous ideations, given the nature of how he romanticizes Crystal. Even trolls accuse Chris of being in favor of incest. When a Rule 34 drawing of Chris finger banging a brunette girl was leaked on Encyclopedia Dramatica, Chris retorted by saying that wasn't Crystal, that was Megan Schroeder, a former friend who severed all ties from Chris when she found the Rule 34 picture. And he tried to make amends with her just so that they could be friends again, but at this point the damage has already been done, and Megan disavowed Chris completely. The reason why Chris was friends with Megan was because he wanted to have sex with her.
Boy, worlds of relief when she finally used her ether to undo all the Idea Guy's chaos in C-197.
The ether in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is the Reality Stone, one of the Infinity Stones from, the Infinity Gauntlet saga. The ether was introduced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the Reality Stone in the movie Thor: The Dark World. The movie's antagonist, Malekith the Cursed, tried to use the ether to bend reality to his image. I thought you might want to know about that, but I'm pretty sure some Marvel fans already understand that reference.
I still remember it all, though, every single detail. But I've toughed it out and recovered of my will and help from my family, friends, and our goddess, Mama Christian Sonichu.
I think someone made a photoshopped image of Chris Chan as Thanos. If anyone finds it, please let me know.
I never forgot the detail in those months. Since then, I've continued my duty and worked hard in everything, including all of our prep work for the merge and getting Mama with her one OG body safely and fully into C-197 from 1218. I've also traversed and visited other planets, dimensions, and timelines with Rosie, by myself, or with Magic Chan, or whoever, for additional tech, resources, and useful supplies. We definitely certainly got a bit of help, despite his freaking retardedness with not from freaking Jacob Sockness and this freaking link with Jacoba on Andromeda. But at least we have our allies that are outside of that freaking OG Oedipus of a thing, whatever.
Jacob Sockness was this 37-year-old autistic man from San Francisco, California, who fell in love with Chris back in September of 2018, and he continued to pursue a relationship with him throughout 2019, even going as far as buying a train ticket to Virginia to visit Chris on Barb's birthday. However, the White Knights and guard dogs warned Chris of Jacob's sick intentions to have sex with him, and Chris called the visit off. In November of 2019, Chris tried to patch up the relationship with Chris by manipulating him into believing that all of his enablers are actually trolls plotting against him. He even went as far as to slander a YouTuber named Gibby Devon by saying that, by calling him out and threatening to dox him. This didn't work since Gibby and the White Knights saw through Jacob's disguise and informed Chris that he was no good. Throughout the early half of 2020, Jacob and Chris have been at each other's throats constantly over Twitter. Until August of this year, Chris eventually blocked Jacob again. But only time will tell when Jacob will resurface under a different account. But that's up for you to decide.
But then finally, the big moment. Magic Chan told me as much as possible of the upcoming body swap that I was going to do between Mama and I. Every single foreseen possibility, outcome, and what to do. So I kept my cool and waited throughout February and March of 2020. Come March 31st, Krakow, zapping it up to the extreme. Here I was, and still am, over 6 months now.
The whole body swap saga is basically Chris's coping mechanism for the entire lockdown. Chris couldn't go to BabsCon because of COVID, so he decided to swap bodies with Sonichu so that he could live out his days in Quickville where he could interact with people. Because in Chris's mythos, COVID-19 doesn't exist in C-197. And so on. So Sonichu is trapped in 1218 for 6 months now.
I tell you all, sincerely, directly, and very clearly as possible, the majority of you all can hardly ever comprehend the genuine, overpower, abilities, endurance, fortitude.
I can't tell if Chris has a mask around his neck, but it's very fuzzy to make out because of the shitty video quality. But I think he's wearing a mask, but he has it wrapped around his neck because he's speaking.
And overall strength and speed this one body and brain literally has. So many visions, so many deja vu moments, telepathy, telekinesis, and so on to every power.
So basically, Christine Chandler is a Mary Sue.
All of you can think of in this dimension, and then some. No exaggerations. And no lies either, I tell you. 1218 restrictions have been tough to work with and around and cope with, but the magic and everything has been and is returning to this dimension from C197 and so on. And the powers of this body and this brain have become easier to utilize. It's constantly connected with the cosmos and every single self-counterpart that still has their respective Christian souls in them, or not, whichever. Anyway,
Sorry, my throat is a bit dry.
And the other dimensions and timelines. It also goes off in massive aura energy, glowing. Look at all this glow around me. If y'all can see this through the video, you are psychically, spiritually awesome.
So you heard him, folks. I am psychically, spiritually awesome. as you are, since you can see the glow. Again, done by editing, which would in never mind.
And sometimes mild pangs when anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say Chris does show signs of self-awareness when it's convenient to him. Hell, he's copying the whole breaking the fourth wall thing from My Little Pony because the character Pinkie Pie likes to break the fourth wall all the time.
Is happening between our two Earths and the Iron Curtain, and then some. This body and brain are literally working, doing, interdimensionally and goddessly traversing tough, rough, and hard every single millisecond. And I, Sanchu, have tried and kept on and continuing on until that day in the new pandemic-free version of this, the Omega timeline, because I'm going back in time with this body after I get back into C197, finally return this body to Mama in the new timeline at BabsCon 2020. And I tell you all, as overpowered a soul I am in my old body that I was used to and accustomed with and everything, how many will I, Sanchu, am unable to do Mama's job as good as only she, our OG Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu of Earths 1218 and C197 can do. This work, her body, her brain, her goddess level overpowers and abilities, they're all literally tailored and custom made only for her. I never should have ever doubted her. My most deepest apologies for doubting her. And I sincerely pledge and repledge my duty, loyalty, and best of myself, my powers, and abilities to her now.
He's doing the whole pledge wrong. You're supposed to have your hand over your heart, not under your nipple.
And after when she and I swapped back to our original bodies in a new timeline, I have learned, I have grown characteristically, and over this time, in humble service to and for her. All praise, prayers, and power to our goddess of 1218 and C197, Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think that this whole dimensional merge, this Sonichu CPU goddess shit, I'm beginning to think now Chris is starting a cult. Then again, wouldn't freaking surprise me that he has started a cult, since there is a Reddit page known as r/Cult of Christian, which was created by Jacob Sockness. So, that does it for this video. Be sure to like and subscribe for future videos like this. Also, if you want to support me financially, I have a Patreon. And I'm still working on it. I have 3 tiers right now. The $5 tier, you get a shout out in my next video, as well as a thank you message from yours truly. $10, you get to vote on a future topic that I can cover, as well as the shout out at the end of my video. $15 is a backstage pass for private shows, which will be held on Patreon, as well as stickers that I'll be drawing hopefully soon. And you can also get a shout out as well. I'm hoping to make merch in the near future. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. So, I'll see you guys next time. So, peace out.